All right, hey guys, Jason here. We were talking about this dude right here. Nice. The SEESII grinder. This thing is going to be amazing here. And this is a truck tool that we're going to have. And when you get it, it is going to come with directions. It is going to come with 3 of the cutoff wheels on it right here automatically. It is going to come with other cutoff wheels, grinders, you name it. It's got all kinds. We got a ton, 4 of those. We got 4 of these right here, these sander wheels, and then we got this grinder wheel here, this chewing one that's serrated. So you get all this stuff with it. You're going to get safety glasses. You're going to get your wrench that comes with it, and another wrench, and then another set of bolts are going to come with it as well too. So you get a lot of great stuff, and you get a handle that is going to fit on either side that you want to, so you can screw that right in and be ready to run. And there you go. So you got your angle grinder here. This is also, the guard is adjustable. You can spin that by loosening the screw. So it's a great system. They also give you a pair of gloves, and you get 2 batteries. And a charger. I have the other battery and the charger charging that battery. And you get your gloves. The only downside to this system is that it does no longer, this is worthless now, okay? This case is pretty worthless because in order to fit this back in the case, you have to take the blades off, you have to take the guard off, you have to take everything off to get it to fit back in here, and you know as well as I do, none of us are taking any of this stuff back apart once we have it set and in its position. So therefore this here becomes completely mute and will go right into the garbage. I would have rather seen them give us a bag with it. Hold on, I need some bug spray. Yeah, so the case, like I said, when I got it, I was like, ooh, look at how nice that is. But in reality, you're not going to use it because you're not going to take all this stuff apart. But this is a pretty brilliant system here, no doubt about it. The instructions are fantastic and show you how to set everything up in detail, how to put everything on, how to run it all, and it's all in color. It is fantastic description for you on there, and you get a lot of great stuff with this thing for the money. So it's a fantastic setup. And like I said, 2 batteries and a charging cord, a simple charger, which is nice because it plugs right in here. These will also run on Makita batteries. So it's a brilliant system, and I really like that feature. This is going to ride in my I have a whole bin up here in the front. I'll pull it out and show you in a minute. That I keep that's got all my SEESII stuff in there, my impact gun and my chainsaw, and now we'll have this. Why a grinder in a car? Why is it so important that we have a grinder, an angle grinder like this in an actual vehicle? So many situations. So one of them, which I'm going to demonstrate for you, cutting off pin hitches, okay, hitch pins. You put a hitch pin in, it's locking, you put it on there, you forget about it for literally forever, and then you go to undo it and the thing froze up and it won't come off anymore. Guess what? This takes it off real easy. Okay, so that's one thing. If I hit a deer with my trailer, which I have done, and it has bent my fenders into the wheels and rolled my fender all up, and I had to rip that whole fender off by taking and disconnecting the trailer, taking my truck, putting a tie strap around that trailer, tighten it on there as tight as I could, driving away with my truck to rip the fender off, that kind of stuff, where with something like this, I can literally take this and I can cut that section of fender off. Okay, same thing if I hit a deer with the front of my truck and it pushes that fender back in and that fender is now hitting my wheel and I can't drive anymore, the fender's ruined, or the bumper's ruined already. So is the fender, quarter panel, whatever it is, ruined, is pushed in. Why not? Now I can take this and just cut out that section so I can continue on my trip, deal with it with insurance when I get back. Take pictures of it before, take pictures of it after you cut it, and understand that you had to cut it in order to make the vehicle mobile. And that kind of stuff happens. I have also 2 times, it's kind of ironic, John laughs at me for this, and both times were with John from Tack to Saddle, but 2 times I have had to cut a lock because I have been locked behind closed gates. So both of those situations, one of them was in South Carolina on a hog hunt down there, and I was down a road. It was actually kind of still a public road. It had public access land back there, but there was a contractor that was using that road and had it gated for protection purposes of their stuff. They installed a gate. Well, we were back in there hunting. The gate was open. We went back in there. We were down that road. We were hunting. When we went to come out, that gate was shut and padlocked with a massive padlock. And we didn't know who to call. We didn't know what to do. We had no idea. So I ended up putting a tow strap, again, another, like a recovery strap around that lock, hooked it on the front of my 2019 Ram Cummins diesel, and backed up and snapped that and popped that lock open. And I left a note there. You know, hey, here's my phone number. Here's everything about me. Sorry, I didn't know this gate was closing. And, you know, and everything. And I'll pay for the lock for you. I'll buy you the new lock. Whatever you need, contact me. And then the other time was in another state, out of state hunt. Well, public land, but they were letting this area be farmed by local farmers, could, you know, lease this land to farm. Well, we'd never been there before, and we went there and we drove down there and there was no gate, no anything, no nothing like that. And then when we go to come out in the dark at the end, when we got a mile or so up there and we hit there, there was a cable across that road. We never even knew that cable was there, never even seen it. He must have moved it while they were down there pulling crops out of there, and we had no idea. And all of a sudden we got a cable and I can't get out. Again, same scenario. I used that tow strap, popped a lock, busted that lock open, and then wrote a note on there. But fortunately for me, on both of these situations, those locks were in a position where it wasn't going to hurt anything. But heaven forbid, it would have been like on one of these Georgia gates. I might actually rip the whole gate down and bend the whole gate up before I actually popped a lock. You know, because of the way some of these things are designed. So there's so many situations where here with this, I can cut a padlock in a second flat, you know, with this cutoff wheel on here, just basically and zip right through that. We're gonna cut a hitch pin in a minute. So that's a beautiful system. I may replace the blades. We'll see how this one does. It says Dragon Cut High Performance. We'll see what it actually does, but like I said, the ability to have the uses for this thing is pretty common. It comes in very handy. So there's a lot of things we can do with it. It's a very affordable tool. And since I already have that bin in there that's got the same exact batteries for my chainsaw and the same exact battery setup for my chainsaws and for my other stuff, and there are different uses that we would use this type of thing for. Enough so that I wanted one for my truck. In my shop, in my garage, I have 3 grinders in there. Now they are all plug-in there. I don't have any battery ones. I have had a DeWalt, because I got in there, I run all DeWalt tools, just because that's what I started with and I always had. But in there, I've asked for one of these for Christmas for like 8 straight years, and nobody ever remembers to get me one. And now that SEESII, you know, I have the chainsaw, I have the impact, I have all that stuff, and that's my whole dedicated truck system with all that batteries and all that setup. This was a no-brainer. So they sent this to me. I asked them for it, and I'm so impressed. We're gonna run this dude, see what it does. So let me bring you here. We're gonna take their safety glasses that they give us, which are gonna be in there, and I'll take you over. I'm gonna pull the bin out and show you what we got in the bin, get everything set up, and we'll be right back with you. All right, so this is my bin. This just rides in the back of the truck right here. In it, we'll have this grinder. We have a bag full of more tie-down straps in here. It's just a pillowcase, which I can use for other things, but we got a bunch more ratchet straps and tie-down straps. I got like 4 in the back of the truck, but these are just extras if I need them. We have the SEESII chainsaw right here, and we have the SEESII impact gun. And we have a bottle of bar oil, chain oil, because like this that we're seeing here, unfortunately, that chainsaw, so does the steel one we had also, but pretty much every chainsaw, when you fill them full of chain bar and chain oil, they're gonna leak. Okay, and I should have known better before putting it in here, but so I do get some leakage. But we got our batteries. We got a ton of batteries in here. We also have an extra tree stand or total recovery strap for light duty stuff, a couple of extra shackles, and we have all of the lug sockets for the impact. And I did buy some torque bars for use with that impact on there so that I don't have to torque them afterwards. It's automatic torquing. And then we have the charger set up here, and we're going to actually get paper towel and clean it. Like I said, just a dribble, just a little bit of bar oil, but you get a little, I didn't drain it. So, but that's why we're carrying that in here. And so that's what we're carrying in this bin. Everything fits in here, nice, neat, and perfect. And I just throw it in the bed of my truck. So what we're going to do right now, though, is we're going to use that grinder. We're going to cut this hitch pin off and see how well it does. I've cut a lot of hitch pins off, but they're usually the locking kind because the lock freezes up in Michigan. And number one thing I probably ever use a grinder for is that kind of thing. So we're going to go ahead and cut this right off. We're going to cut this hitch pin off of here. I'm hoping you can see that, right? Let me turn this. Yeah, so let's cut this dude, see what it's going to do here. As a lefty, I'm going to come around on this side. So we're going to go in from here. We're going to set that there where you can see that. Yes, we're going to cut that dude right off. Let's see what she does. And there it is. That's it. We just completely cut that hitch pin off clean. Where are you at? There you go. Sorry, the camera lens is upside down. There we go. So that cut that clean, just like that quick and easy, all the way through that thick steel, just like that. Cakewalk. So that's what we're after right there. That's the beauty of having one of these. Doesn't matter what it is. Like I said, a fender, anything like that. All right, I forgot to show you guys out there. I got distracted. Neighbor came by, but we also have on this thing here too, we have battery indicators on every one of the batteries. When I hit that, it tells you how bright, how much power is in every single one of the batteries. We also have 3 speeds on here. We cut that hook on setting 1. Okay, so if we turn this on here, so we hit this power button here, hang on, let's turn it on. Okay, we can change that speed setting to 2 and 3. Okay, we're on 1. Let's show you. Here's 1. Okay, that's 3,500 RPM. I think this is 7,500. And then when we go to 3, we end up at 10,000 RPM. So there's the difference here. So again, 3,500. That is the speed that we use to cut that one, and it still cut as quick as it did. And then we have the second speed, 7,500. And then we have 10,000. And like I said, what a little screamer. And then having the ability to check all your batteries is a fantastic thing. So forgot to mention that in there for you while we were doing that video. All right, so we got all that. We took some paper towel and we cleaned out all that oil out of there. So that's all gone out of there now. A little bit of dust in here. I'm not real picky about that. But so here's what we're going to keep in there now. We got all our other SEESII tools, the impact, everything in there. And we're going to throw in our wrench. And we're going to throw in our spare wrench, and that spare piece are going to go down here in the bottom of this. And we're going to throw that wrench in there. We're also going to throw 3 cutting discs, 3 extra discs inside of here. So we're going to have them in there. We're going to throw our glasses in here for our safety glasses, so we got them in there. And we're going to throw this cutoff in here. We're going to pop the battery off of it. That gives us now 6 batteries for this. Now we got one more battery in the house left to put in here. And then we're going to set our straps in here. And then this becomes our whole little power tool kit. Hoping that's visible on camera. Yep. So this becomes our whole little power kit set up right here in the bed of the truck. Just this little bin. We'll put the other battery in there, and then those go in there and just cut, and that's it. We just stick this in the bed of the truck. But I got all these tools that I need right there in the bed of the truck, good and ready to go. And that grinder, this grinder is one heck of an incredible addition to this kit, and worth its weight in gold. Going to be so valuable for so many different things. Wanted one for so long. Now we actually have one, and we are going to love having it. And there you go. Questions, comments, put them down below. Thanks for watching.